Hello, beautiful creators. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. How is everybody? I see the chat is already super lively and playful. I love it. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Allison Holley, and I am a channel and awakening guide. And I'm so happy to be here today. I do this live stream once a month on the first Sunday of every month. And my aim and my intention and greatest desire is to bring clarity, to offer channeled messages for you. There's a lot going on in the world, and my purpose in this life is to bring that clarity through as much as I possibly can. I consider myself a bit of a translator. I've realized this recently. I'm a translator between dimensions. And yeah, it's really fun. So, all right, I'm going to see if I can read some of these and say hello to you all. Let's see. Hi, Kennedy. Hi, Christine. Hi, the airport bum. What a fun name. Hello, Lori. Oh, I also want to give a shout out to my incredible moderators. So I have several moderators here, Courtney, Kennedy, and also my little sister, Amanda. Amanda, I have to call you out because I'm so grateful that you're here helping out. Let's see. Hi, Fleur. Hello, Lori. Hi, Clara. Hi, Austin. I have these lights in my face, so I have to get right up in here. Hi, Rosemary. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I am going to start this off today with reading a page from my book. And so first, let me actually explain how this is going to go today. For the whole hour, I'm here to channel and provide coaching guidance for any questions that you have. So if you have a question, feel free to type it into the chat. What helps me and my moderators is type Q at the beginning of it. That way we know that it's a question instead of part of the chat, because it does get going pretty fast. So if you have a question that you'd like me to dive into, please type it into the chat. You can continue to type it into the chat through this whole live stream. And I'm going to get to as many of them as possible. When it comes to questions, the ones that I'm going to kind of have to pick and choose, but the ones that are the best for this particular live stream are things that are maybe more general, or I'll give an example of what works, what doesn't work as well. Things like, is my dog going to be okay? Right? If it's very specific to you, then I recommend I have private sessions that are available for that. I'm not going to be going into what I call sort of the psychic realm during this, but I love bringing through channeled guidance. And if you feel that this is something that would benefit the collective, then I'm absolutely helped to dive into it. And if you have a question and you're not sure where it fits into all of that, type it into the chat and we'll just see what we get to. So to start it off, I want to actually read a passage from my book, Ecstatic Playground. And I want to share with all of you that we have a book club meeting coming up. So I'm going to be guiding a book club. We're going to do one chapter each month, and it starts October 13th, I believe. You can check the description box. You can join that for free. This is something that I offer because I love the teachings in this book and I love to share about it. And I find that it really helps to go deeper. So in the book club, I'm going to be talking about what it was like to receive this guidance, because everything in this book is, channeled guidance that I received over several years. So we're going to be diving into it, and I'm going to not only share deeper teachings around everything that's in the book, but also background. So if you're curious what it was like to receive this guidance, what's really fun about this book and the way that life works for me is you can see how thin this book is. And as I write my books, I also have another one. It's The Era of the True Creator. This is my first one. As I receive this information, it takes me years to bring these messages forward in the form of a book because I have to learn it myself. And so that's what I'm really excited to share with you all is the background, what it was like to learn these things, um, what it was like to receive the channeled guidance. So the game that I'm going to play here is type a number in. I'm actually getting a signal that I need to do it from this book. So type a number in the chat between 1 and, let's see, 118. And we'll just go with the first number. Hi, Radka. Hi, Stefan. Okay, 111. Let's go into 111 in the era of the true creator. I'm just going to read to you all. It's like story time in kindergarten. It's one of my favorite things. All right. And yes, please feel free to keep typing in the chat. By the way, I also want to thank you as a community for being here. This is such an incredible community, such a beautiful group of loving people. And I'm so grateful for all of you showing up and being here. And I also would love if you continue to connect with each other in the chat, because a big part of what I feel I'm here to help with is to help us all remember that we're not alone, that we have connections, that we have community. And this is a beautiful community. So definitely connect with each other. Oh, let's see. Okay, this one's about making choices. I've been learning about this in my own life just this morning. At times during this process, we may feel that we are not able to set our own course or make our own choices. Even if we try, we may feel that our lives are out of our control and that we are avatars controlled by the whims of a god or our higher selves. Indeed, this can be a frustrating or even frightening belief system to hold. This occurs when we are still mentally choosing, still caught in old programs of victimhood or powerlessness. Often, much more is occurring than we are consciously aware of. And as we expand into a more quantum understanding of our creative potential, we will step into the recognition of more and more freedom. As expanding and multidimensional beings in human form, it is sometimes difficult to see our path clearly because there are so many states of being to choose from, to know ourselves from. This is a gift, but it doesn't always feel so. There are so many roads we can take to get where we are going. All are divine. All are a cause for celebration in the higher plane. And our guides do not wish to trick us into choosing one or the other. If we find along our path that we are being presented with dead ends, it is clear that we are again choosing from the mind and stuck in mental loops. In these moments where we feel we do not know how to move forward, we simply need to find what is in our best interest with as much information as we have at the time. We can follow our heart or our mind, as each of these has pertinent information for us to understand the situation fully. Last paragraph. Through this process of learning to create, we must be patient with ourselves and our limited human perspectives. We must know that we must know this about ourselves now, that we are moving forward in our mastery by completing what we have pre-chosen and simultaneously understanding this higher concept that choice is mastery and that we are becoming through each choice we make. We let go of our mental ideas that we are fully formed and inflexible and see that our ability to choose is infinite, and that in this moment now, we have everything we need to move forward. Well, I feel like that was for me. I hope that was helpful for all of you as well. All right, let's get into these questions. Beautiful, beautiful. I also want to share, so I'm going to be reading them off my phone because these amazing moderators are actually sending them over to a private chat. So I'm going to be going through them on my phone. I also want to share with you, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. The next video that I put out is going to be later this week. And I'm going to be diving into how to prepare for star family contact. This is very much present and important right now. It's very exciting for me, and I know a lot of you. And so I want to let you know that I've gone into a channeling with my friend Julia, and I'm going to possibly even be sharing 2 videos this week about how to prepare for star family contact, how to personally prepare and open our fields to receive that level of experience. So, all right. I'm so grateful for these mods. All right, first question. What starseed lineage do I come from? I'm unsure which ET race has the strongest connection to me as the closest intergalactic relatives. I am unsure of this question is general. Okay. Thank you for that question. As I tune into, it's interesting. Our blueprints are so apparent and everything down to the name. So just reading your name and the energy that's emitted from the way that you phrase this question, the way that you type it, it's a bit hard to describe, but I can immediately pick up on Arcturian. And there's also a knowing that you have had. What I'm getting right now is that that's the strongest for you. That's the strongest for you. It's not your only Star Nation experience. It's not the only one that will resonate with you. And it's helpful and important for you to know that you'll receive teachings. Okay, this is good. This is going into, whew, I'm like getting a lot of energy through this one. So this is a great example of how a very personal question can sometimes be very general and helpful for everyone. There is a really powerful experience that happens while we are on Earth, and especially at this time in human consciousness. So if all of you right now have incarnated in this time in human consciousness, regardless of all of your other experiences, what we call past or future or other, being on Earth gives us this very unique opportunity and importance around allowing ourselves to receive teachings from many different star collectives. I'm listening as I share this. So it's important for us, especially moving forward, because the next 3 months are going to be so powerful when it comes to star family contact. And allowing ourselves to be open to all of these different star nations. I'm getting literally lightheaded as I share this. So I'm sort of attuning to the guidance as I'm sharing this. Allowing ourselves to be open to our whole galactic family and receive teachings from many different, what we would call collectives on Earth. We maybe call them lineages. But it's very important. And it's, let me ask, why is it important? Why is it so important that I'm sharing this message right now? Because it's a celebration, it's a coming together. So while it is so much fun and so beautiful to know where we're from, that's almost, it's fun and it's wonderful, and it can potentially narrow us. It can potentially narrow us in this feeling of that's the only lineage, or that's the only collective that I need to listen to, or that's the only one that I want to look for. We have a very strong Lyran star family collective that is very present, creating a sort of forerunning for the energies that we're experiencing. But they're all present. When I say that, it's like, and Arcturian and Pleiadian, there's so much coming through. It really is a big celebration. It's a gathering. It's just like this community where we're coming together, and there are so many different star nations coming together at this time. So be open to all of it. And your soul signature has a lot of Arcturian. All right, let's go into the next one. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Stephen. I am feeling like I'm having a mental, emotional, physical breakdown. What is going on? Is it the current state of Earth energies? Others may feel the same. Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to tune in just a little bit more. When I say absolutely, I mean that yes, a lot of people are experiencing this. I'm really happy that you asked this question, and I'm happy that, like I said, I believe it was yesterday. Time is funny. When I channeled with my friend Julia, the channeling that I'm going to be sharing later this week. A lot came through about this. A lot came through about how our mental experience of pain, of suffering, is going to, it is very, very much a part of this segment of awakening for us right now. What that means is that the way that we interpret things is up for question. It's very important that when we are interpreting something as suffering, that we allow ourselves to be a bit more open with that we witness that all simply is. So when we feel that we're going through something like a mental breakdown, an emotional breakdown, that's breaking down to open. And our mind is so beautiful, so beautiful. And it's based on attachment. It's based on attachment so that we can function as humans. But it doesn't serve us as we open to expanded understanding. We need to move into the higher mind that is not based on attachment. And in that capacity, we will feel like we're losing our minds, right? Because we're moving from attachment-based mind into higher mind capacity. In higher mind capacity, we are observing, not from a place of, we think of attachment or detachment. We think of detachment in this way that we will not care about what's going on, that we're ignoring it, spiritual bypassing and things like that. But actually with detachment, we're highly present. We are right there with what is going on, and we allow ourselves to expand and see more of the full picture. That's what detachment is. It's really presence. So as we're going through these things that feel like breakdown, allow yourself to be deeply present with whatever's going on and witness it, be present with it, as if you're sitting with the most dear friend to your heart. You're sitting right next to your friend. You're sitting right across from your friend. Ultimate compassion. Earlier this year, I'm going to come back to this. At the beginning of the year, I asked, so December 31st, I always like to know what the theme is for my year, Gregorian calendar. And I, this year, heard devotion. And as I heard that, Kuan Yin came through. And this whole year has been teaching me about what devotion and compassion really means. Compassion and Kuan Yin, one of the beautiful things about her and that energy is that she has lived human experiences. And She is not ignoring anything that's going on, but she's also not attaching to anything that's going on. So, this is the heart of compassion, to be deeply present, to sit in witness with this aspect, with whatever's going on, to be present with it as if it's a good friend, your closest friend. You're sitting right across from that, and you're that person, and you're saying, I witness you. I see that you're suffering. I know from my personal experience what that suffering is like. I agree with you that suffering is happening. And I am not attached to it, meaning I see the full picture. I see how this suffering is beautiful. And that's hard to say. It's hard for me to say because I know what suffering feels like. And I'm not going to attach myself to it. In this higher aspect of me, I do not attach to it. So being very present with ourselves in that. The breaking down is to break open. And this is a positive thing. This is a positive thing. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for these questions, loves. Okay. Okay. How can I become financially sustainable, having all needs and desires covered while doing what I love and being of the highest service to all? This question comes up a lot, doesn't it? There is a predominant spiritual mindset, and it is a mindset. It's not a heart truth. It's a mindset that to be wealthy is to be deceptive, is to be in opposition of your greatest truth, your greatest clarity. So within you, if you are struggling with money, and I'm not going to say this is everyone because I'm specifically reading for you, Radka, that this feeling of not being financially wealthy, and this is something that we've covered several times, it is a feeling of not wanting to be part of the earth experience because the earth experience has told us, or at least the earth experience that you've attuned to, and many spiritual people have attuned to, is to say it's one or the other. I'm either wealthy and out of alignment with myself, or I am fully in alignment with myself and I don't care about wealth. Let's transition this into physical body because that's also part of this earth experience. Part of the human experience is to provide for yourself, is to let's put it a different way, is to allow yourself to have the greatest amount of beauty and care. And so as we're navigating this human experience, we are all of it. This is part of being multidimensional. Yes, we're human. So we take care of the human plane. Great care, with great love. We take care of the human plane. What does human me need? And money is such a cool thing to experience on this earth because it's actually so neutral and it is so which means it can be so many things. It means that because it's an energy and not a physical thing, we can interpret it in so many ways, which means that we get to put the label on it. We get to experience money how our projection field is placing that importance on it. Okay, so coming back to the human experience around it, would we deny our human body care in the way that it needs? Or, so for example, if we're applying this same perception to our human physical body, would we then say, In order to live my purpose, I have to not eat. Now, for some of you, that's true, but it's when that happens, that's not coming from a place of hating the human experience. And I can't even make that generalization. We're all learning in our different ways. So, that being said, if you are in great love and great care for being human, for this human experience, you're going to allow in the human experience. And it does not have to be in opposition to the rest of it. So the belief that can shift for you specifically is knowing that both are true, that you being the fullness of your purpose and who you came here to be, and pure and light, that is inherently fed by huge amounts of abundance. In fact, that is a sign that you are open to the truth of who you are in this dimension, in this experience. If you are fully open to being the full channel of source creation through yourself, there is no way that abundance could be separate from that. It's abundance in all things. It's abundance in all things. So there's a mindset shift. There's a mindset shift that money is separate. Money is just like the leaves on a tree. Money literally does, in an energetic and literal sense, it grows from trees. Money is a part of this whole thing. And so allowing that mindset to shift, that it's not separate, that it's simply another fun, very neutral experience on the human plane. And since it's neutral, you get to create what it gets to be. So what is the face of money? The face of money gets to be a natural expression of you allowing the fullness of who you are to exist within the human capacity. It's natural. It's natural. It's whole. It's part of you. It's an extension of you. If it were sheep, you would have thousands of sheep. If it were water, you would have all the water that you could possibly want. It is all available to you. It is all you. And so it's not separate. It's not on the physical plane. It's not something that you get. It's something that you simply allow in by no longer creating a mental projection that it's separate, by no longer creating a mental projection that it's different from spirituality. Okay. That was a lot. My intention is that that's super helpful. A pattern. Okay, next question. A pattern has shown up connected to trust issues. Every time I start to trust, especially in the flow of life, the ground goes away from under my feet. How best to clear this? Thanks in advance. There's nothing external to you to trust. There's nothing external to you to help you feel safe. It is all within. So when you start to trust and you start to feel that freedom, it's because you created that shift in your mind. It's not because inherently something external to you is more trustworthy. It's because the shift in your mind said, I can trust. I can trust this because it feels connected to me and it feels safe. But the habit is the continual externalization of anything. This is related to money too. We don't trust in money. We trust in ourselves, and then the money flows in. We trust ourselves, and then the experiences simply amplify that, simply agree with us. We only ever trust in ourselves. Now, when I say trust in the self, and I've reviewed this several times, I'm not saying trust in the human ego self, although that's part of it. As we read in that part, we can take information from our mind and from our heart. There is no right answer. We are navigating vast experiences, and really we're here to navigate it with love, but love, even that, has been so translated into this human experience as good. What is good? And then we get in the mind about it. It's everything is good. Everything is good. Everything that exists is good because everything that exists is God. Okay? So where do we find all of that source? I talk about this in my Limitless course, and I'm not saying that to say, it's about the course. I'm saying in that course I talk about all of creation and how all of this comes to be. Source, which is the all that is in my interpretation of it from what I've been able to see. It is the all that is. And we are projections from source. You are the finger of God, which means act as God. If God shows up in your body today, is God going to say this is good and this is bad? No, this is all God's creation, right? Everything in existence is. There is no good and bad there. There is the interpretation of affinity or things that flow. There is the interpretation of things that feel really good. And from this understanding, we can start to derive, oh, okay, I want to navigate by love, not based on good and bad. So let's come back to this question. The habit of, let's go a little bit further back. Why is it that the ground falls out as soon as you start to trust somebody? Because the feeling of trust comes from within you. And when you trust somebody or something, even your guidance team, you take that trust and you put it out here. And you say, that thing, if it changes from my current mental perception, I no longer feel safe. That thing, if it moves at all from this current moment, I will no longer feel safe and I will not be able to trust it. The mind wants everything to be static. So this thing, the moment that you trust it, it's already moving and shifting because everything in existence is. So you can't take the trust that's within you and place it on something external because that thing is going to move and shift, and it always is and it always will. Everything is always moving and shifting. There is no thing to place our trust in. There is no person to place our trust in. It is the self that experiences the paradigm of trust, of safety. So there's nothing external to place that on. Again, I'm intending that this makes sense. Bring that trust within. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Let's get really clear on that. It means that I unconditionally, without condition, without external condition, am safe. Why am I safe? Because this human experience is an illusion. And it's a great illusion, and it's a fun illusion, and we get to play with it. But it's a projection from us. It's not something real out here. It's not something real out here. It's a projection from us. So when we trust ourselves, we say, I trust the full plan of all existence. I am eternal. That could be a really good affirmation. I am eternal, and therefore I am safe. I am always here. I am always going to exist. The trust is in the self. It's in the fullness of the experience. It's not in a thing. It's not even in a person. Safety is inherent within. When you feel safe within, and this is a big lesson that I've learned my whole life, and I'm still learning daily. Safety within means that every experience external to you is safe because it's not dependent on that. It is unconditional. It is unconditional. So it's within. It's within. I'm safe. Doesn't matter if the glass is over here or over here. I'm safe. I am safe. I am safe. All right, my loves. Next question. How are you all doing, by the way? I haven't been reading in the chat. I see a lot going on. More questions? Cool. All right. As our bodies are going through upgrades, changes, a lot of us are holding extra weight. Is there a specific reason our bodies need this extra weight, or should we be doing something different? Okay. Okay. It's again, it's the safety. Um, there's also a call to, okay, in order to take the feeling of staticness off of something, the level of weight, right? Part of the process of detaching our focus on something external, and even our bodies we can consider external, in order to take that focus off of and release some of that attachment, is to not see it as something that is a general part of the ascension experience. So something that, we could say is, as people ascend, we it always feels painful. As people ascend, it um, we always go broke. As people ascend, like these generalizations, they are not true. And taking the feeling of the generalization off of that will help release the attachment to it, because when we're attached to something we feel powerless against it. We feel, oh, that we connect it. So we start to think, every time my frequency changes, this happens. Release the attachment to that so that it no longer needs to be a part of the ascension experience. So that's coming through first. The second thing is, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and lovely. How cool that our bodies respond in whatever ways they respond, which is a uh, an, a natural aspect of our minds trying to understand the situation and trying to navigate the situation. So, if we have experiences that are painful or unpreferred in any way, go neutral with it. Go neutral with it. Again, does this need to be attached to this? Not necessarily. So why is that happening for me? My body is doing really beautiful things to help me feel safe in this navigation. Let's look at this specifically. I'm just going to look a little deeper. There's a survival feeling, but it's so loving. When I tune into the energy of this question, it's so loving. The image that I get is almost like the body saying, "Oh, all right, let's suit up. Let's put on this extra weight because we're going into something and this feels good to do." So it's a very playful feeling that I'm receiving from this. It's a very joyful feeling. And so what you can do is, first step, this is probably going to sound counterintuitive, but maybe not, is to appreciate and enjoy that your body is doing this. Enjoy it. Like, yeah, oh, thanks, body. Okay. And then you can start to, holding the hand of your body. It's funny to say it that way, but sort of holding the hand of your physical experience and saying, I'd like to do it in a different way. It's not necessary to experience extra weight. Is there another way that we could do this that would feel just as good? And that's the process. That's the process. Because inherent in the body putting on extra weight, the body's just serving you. Inherent in that is a feeling of not being safe. And so bring safety in. And again, it's really, really cool. In the channeling that I'm going to be sharing later this week, a lot around this came up. In preparing for Star Family Contact, one of the main things was start to anchor safety in the body, start to learn safety in the body. So I love that all of this is coming up. Really, really powerful. Thank you for that question. All right, next question. We all doing good? Moderators, you're amazing. Thank you, thank you. Um, I have felt strongly, benignly guided all my life. Ah, okay. And how come I don't know my guidance team? Ooh, I want to tune into this one a little deeper. So, oh, there's less of a separation. What's coming through is you are your guidance team. So we do all sorts of funny things when we're planning out this human experience. We, and I was just sharing with someone this morning, I have memories of writing out my life plan when before birth. I remember getting together with my mom in this human form, and we were so excited. She was so excited writing out what we were going to do. We are so excited when we create this human experience. And we do a lot of funny things based on what our deep soul desire is for learning. Your deep soul desire for learning included feeling very, let's use the word independent. There might be a better word that comes through, but feeling very safe. And it's almost as if you created your life saying, all right, I got this. I want to go in and I want to navigate for myself. I want to feel very strong. I want to create the experience of, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And self guided, right? And so often in human form, and this is a huge example for other people. This is how you serve others because so often in human form, we really other things. We pray to a God that's so separate from us. We can't even imagine that we come from God. We're like, oh, I've got to repent and I've got to be separate from God. And I'm not I'm not criticizing any of that. That's part of what we build into our human experience. But we often create so much feeling of separation from who we really are that we are afraid of making the wrong decision all the time. And you, in your soul form, really wanted the feeling of saying, I'm going to know who I am, and I'm going to show people they can trust themselves. I'm going to be that light for myself, and I'm going to dive in and navigate life with that confidence and that serenity. so, so that's what I'm picking up for you. That's really cool. There's something about rainbow frequencies coming through. It's as if you hold more of the spectrum of light within your conscious self, right? So as we come into the human form, we have this sort of uh, layer of self that we believe, right? And we close out our understanding of so many other things. And that can be sort of, we can see it as like a rainbow spectrum that we have access to. And you have more of the full spectrum of your full self. So, and this is actually why you experience the um, rainbow frequencies, something around that. I'd love to hear in the comments how that resonates. And from all of you, anyone who I've brought messages through for, I'd love to hear how this is resonating for you. Okay. Let's see. Next question. Grief has become intense due to an impending family death, and I'd like to stay in my body, but I can feel the pull to an old habit of disassociation. How can I stay functional within the emotions? Really good question. Really good question. The first thing is the reason that that habit existed before was because you didn't have the tools to show up for yourself, to function. Emotions felt unmanageable in the face of all the other things that were going on in life. So, one, it's knowing that you now have built the capacity to experience emotions and not have them it almost felt unsafe for you to experience emotions before because life was traumatic. And so now you're allowing yourself to experience emotions. It's now safe. You've Good job. You've now built your life to allow yourself to experience emotions. And so it's knowing that you don't need to numb because you have the capacity to feel emotions. And the next step from that is that emotions you can see them differently. Emotions are no longer unsafe. In fact, they're preferred. It's a beautiful aspect of being human. And you have room for them. You have room for them. I'll say that again. You have room for them. There is room for your emotions now. It is actually something that you've written for yourself, that you will allow yourself to experience these emotions because the emotions are giving you information that is part of your soul growth and your soul journey. So now feeling them, allowing yourself to have that space to feel those emotions, powerful, beautiful, beautiful. So anytime that you want to sort of numb that feeling, or it's not even that you want to, it's the inclination. It's almost like, oh, this is what I do with funny sirens coming in the background. I love how everything sort of speaks in divine timing. So when the feeling comes up, oh, I'm feeling an emotion, the automatic response is we need to numb that out to stay safe and to be able to manage external reality. Remind yourself, I have space. I have room for my emotions. I have built my life to have space for this. And then use different tools. So now that you have space for your emotions, there are different tools that you have in your life. Calling a friend, sitting in ceremony, um, using your resources, so things like going to community events where you can be held in a space and things like that. Use those tools because allow your mind to not operate on the old automatic assumption that when you have an emotion you need to do this in order to be the safe person in your world, right? You now have different tools. You now have built a life of different tools, and you can allow yourself to use those. Okay. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Next question. Hi, my name is Katrina, and I'm new here. Hello, Katrina. What do we do to help our families get ready for the shift? What should we share with them to help them understand? Thank you. I love that. I'm going to drink some water because I can feel that I'm getting like just a little rushed with this. The first thing that I want to draw attention to is your heart. The heart of this question, the heart frequency that comes through in this question is there's so much love. And there's also, I feel like safety is the theme today. There's also a feeling of and I get this so deeply on a personal level. There's a feeling of if others are doing it too, then everything's going to be a bit easier to manage. So the heart of this is that you love these people, that you want them to experience the excitement with you. And the sort of shadow of this question is also, it will help me feel more comfortable. I want people with me enjoying this. Again, this is one that I know very well. And so Allow yourself, here's the guidance that's coming through directly for you, and then I'm going to address this sort of collectively. Allow you yourself to be excited. Just be excited. The full teaching, the collective teaching around this is there is no other, there is no one but self. And so what do we want for others? We bring it to ourselves. If I want to share in the joy of this awakening experience, then I witness that I want to be in the joy of this shift, this awakening experience. That's what I want. And I can allow myself to do that. We are here to send ripples out, right? And regardless, so a lot of times things are happening in non physical arenas that we don't see in the physical arenas. So, it's what we just read at the beginning of this. We can't even see what's actually happening. We might be sitting there going, get ready for the shift with me, like shaking somebody, come on. And what's happening behind the scenes is everything that's meant to happen, whether the perception of it and whether our physical experience of it really shows us that. So be in your own excitement, be in your own joy, be in your own practices of joy, of shifting. Let yourself go full in to the shift. And when it comes to helping others prepare, just be available. There's nothing wrong with them being whatever they are. I'm going to share this. This is funny. I'm going to share this because it's coming through. It's okay to share. So I had a dream last week, and it was a really intense dream. It was one of those visionary dreams, but sometimes visionary dreams are clear. It's very clear. This is a vision. This is exactly how it's going to happen. Some visionary dreams, it's clear that it wasn't just a dream, and it's not going to show up exactly like that. It's more symbolic. So in this dream, I heard the dream was that my mom wrote on Facebook, I am aware that ETs are coming and that they're coming in December, and my children are helping me understand this. And in the dream, I remember going, okay, so they're coming in December. Interesting way for me to find out. And so I find this really interesting. And this applies to your question. The reason that I'm bringing this up is, one, because that was a really cool dream. And two, this applies to your question. There are so many fields of existence, so many dimensional spaces, and change is happening rapidly, especially in the denser and denser and denser dimensions. But it is not going to look the way that we think it's going to look. And so just know that everyone individually is following their own path of mastery. Everyone individually is following, even if it's totally unconscious, doing exactly what needs to be done. There can't be any mistakes. And get to the core of this desire. What we want is to share in the excitement of it. And we can do that regardless of what consciousness we are perceiving other people to be in. And there's a lot more going on than what we perceive with our human vision. If we are perceiving something in a way that's unpreferred, that means that we are tuning in from the lens of our mind and the feeling of fear that we won't be getting what we want. And all things are possible. I also will say a message that I've gotten is, especially in the next 3 months, and try not to attach this to the way that things look on the physical plane. In the next 3 months, things will be shifting so rapidly. People are going to be going through huge awakenings, and that includes all of us. myself included. Wow, the levels of awakenings. I was sitting in my car the other day eating french fries, so not doing anything super healthy. Sitting in my car just looking at the sky, and I can tell you that my star family presence was so strong. It was it was a I could feel myself in consciousness going to a dimensional shift that I haven't yet experienced in human form, and I have experienced a lot in human form, and I was so excited. I'm like, "Wow, what is coming for me?" Because this shift that we are moving into is just waves upon waves upon waves. So, let yourself experience it. That was a very long uh, thing that came through. Thank you for listening, and may that be of the highest service to you. All right, Yash, what is the best advice for me to clearly hear my spiritual guide's message, my strong or weak area to improve? Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Yash. Remember that it speaks in so many different ways. So when I tune into this question, I don't know if you can all hear that because I'm using a microphone, but it is a helicopter going overhead. Um, this is something. So I have a course that's I'm backtracking. I'm gonna bring it all together, I promise. I have a course, it's called the Learn to Channel course. And we actually meet once you join that course, there are live practices every 2 weeks. And where we meet, or Stacy, who's not here, actually guides that most of the time. But I popped in on the last one. And a huge aspect of what was coming up in that gathering is the multitude of ways that the all communicates through us and to us. Yours is very vibrational. So when I heard that helicopter, what I was feeling in my system was almost like this vibration of the heart. It was coming through as if the heart space was a gong, and it was that deep, steady vibration, right? And so knowing, sometimes we look for signs in the way that they don't actually come to us. Now we can develop all of it. All of it is available for development, right? So if you're not clairvoyant, this is something that you can develop. And path of least resistance. How is the universe or the all already speaking to you and through you? Pay attention to the ways that that comes through. And yours is really heart. Yours is really heart. There's a vibrational tone to it, there's an energetic tone to it. So, listening to that, the way that you can start this, let me give you an actual activity that you can do. Let me tune into this. Again, so I was about to share something, and it's like, okay, but also be aware that this could go very mental. But sometimes, if we're having a hard time tuning into the heart, a good practice is tuning into the body, because that still gets us out of our mind and helps us attune to more of our holistic self, our frequencies. So, one of the ways that we can get into the body and experience our own attunement is through what's called muscle testing, but do it with your whole body. So, the activity is to stand up, make sure that you're hydrated, and ask your body, show me yes. And your body's going to lean in a certain way. Maybe it's going to circle, right? And then ask your body, show me no, show me something that's not aligned. And your body's going to lean, or maybe it's going to feel weak, or it's going to fall over. That's a way that you can start to attune to your physical body, that is going to help you tune into the heart space. And it will help you start to understand how to receive guidance from your guides. Um, Also, I'm seeing pay attention. So, something that's opening as the collective shifts over the next 3 months, and I will be offering a telekinesis workshop in November. I'm sorry that it's taken me so long. I've been going through life circumstances, which is really just learning how to be human for me. First time, doing my best. Um, I will be offering a telekinesis workshop in November, but that being said, telekinetic energy is very much opening for all of us in the coming months. And so the way that that can present is sometimes objects in our reality move or shift, and it seems like they kind of happened on their own. So there's something about this for you where your guides actually kind of move things for you. And it can be as simple as, a paper falling onto the ground that has, a message for you that's important for you to read. Or, I don't know how many of you drink like yogi tea, but they have the little messages there. And sometimes it's just the perfect message. This is an extension. We think telekinesis is being able to move things with our mind, but there's baby steps before that. And the baby steps before that is witnessing that all of reality is always moving according to our ability to perceive it. So we're picking up on different things. Number synchronicities, that's actually one of the baby steps, one of the beginning steps in telekinesis, because we're witnessing that reality is not solid. It's in the matrix. How do you move how do I bend the spoon? There is no spoon. Okay. So anyway, that obviously I'm excited to teach that workshop and start to play with that in your experience. All right. This is the last question, so I'm going to go ahead and close after this. Good timing. In this life, I have carried so many family patterns that are not healthy, and it's been painful, and I always want to be kind to my earth family, but a lot of times I just can't, and I close myself. I'm reading. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll close it on this because I feel like this is so, so, so powerful and helpful. And thank you for sharing that. Part of the illusion of the earth planes, and I can speak to this as a starseed who has come in with specific programming um, that actually keeps me from really diving into a lot of the earth stories that have occurred over and over again. A lot of the relooping I don't experience because I'm here to help humanity out of that relooping. Now, I'm definitely still human and I definitely still experience a lot of this, but um, I'm sharing that with you to let you know that there are things that have happened on the earth plane for the entirety of human experience or much of human experience that are only true because it's been repeated, that it doesn't have to be true moving forward. One of those things is this belief that we have to carry each other's anything or karma in that definition of it, right? Karma means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but that idea that we have to do it and do it and do it until we somehow resolve ourselves or that we have to carry the pain of family. And I know this is confusing because it feels real when we're doing it, but it's simply a false paradigm. So we break the chains of that the moment that we allow ourselves to believe that that's not what we have to do anymore. So the guidance that's coming through on this is that you don't need to carry any of your family's weight. By focusing on just yourself, you are still going to feel your family's weight. That's not going to immediately go away. But the purpose of your life is not to resolve that by trying to fix something external to you. The way that you fix that is actually by going within and only being attuned to you. And anything that we feel, here's a deeper truth, and I really recommend, this isn't sales, there's really cool truths in these books. So the Era of the True Creator has quite a bit about this, being empathic. I highly recommend reading that, because there's going to be a lot of understanding that comes through. The only thing that exists is the self. I can't go deeper into that right now. Let me attune this in a way that's going to really make sense. There is no one to carry anything for but the self. In doing that, we actually free ourselves of attachment. We free ourselves of this burden, and we allow ourselves to live free, which is the way that we help others. It's one of those things that seems like a paradox. Paradoxes are, there's no such thing as a paradox, which in itself is a paradox. Because when we perceive something as a paradox or contradictory, it's just because we have a narrow perception of what it is based on our human experience. It all makes sense together in the higher fields. So, in letting go of trying to take care of anything external, in letting go of the pain and trying to resolve the pain, is actually when we accomplish both of those things. When we let go of the pain or the suffering and trying to resolve the suffering in our family lineage, we actually heal the family lineage, because we no longer believe in the story. We no longer exist within that story within ourselves. So even if none of that I just said makes sense, being present with yourself, allowing yourself to feel joy, and letting go of the idea that something needs to be resolved for your family is actually going to heal your family lineage. So the truth is, you did come here to heal the family lineage, but it's not by going to the family lineage and healing them. There's nothing external. It is by going within. Anything that we want to bring to someone else, give it to ourselves. Do I want to liberate others? Liberate the self. Do I want to awaken others? Awaken the self. Because that will be what changes everything external. And in this comes that the law of oneness, the power of oneness. It's not even a law, it's just an is. It just is. In that, we'll start to witness everything shift externally. All right? My loves, this has been fun. Thank you all for being here. It's hard for me to even see my screen. I see some of you are at least sticking around here. And I intend that this is helpful and this has been of service to you. If for whatever reason your question didn't get answered, or you have something more specific that you'd like to dive into with me personally, I actually just reopened my one-on-one single video calls. So for several months, I took off my one-on-one channeling sessions, and I've only had the single question channelings, which are the voice memos that I send to you, which those are awesome. Those are available on my website, but also I have one-on-one channeling sessions. They're 30 minutes. We get on a video call and we dive into whatever you'd like to on those calls. I'm not sure how much longer those will be available, because they are a little bit more taxing to me. So, but my guidance has been to open those back up. And so they are on my website, probably just for the rest of the month. Okay. So if you'd like one of those, also join the book club. And I am available for coaching and all sorts of things. And let's see. Oh, one thing that I wanted to share with you. Let's see if I can pull it out here. There has been a redesign on my Learn to Channel workbook. So this is available on my website and also on Amazon and select bookstores. The Learn to Channel workbook is the whole Learn to Channel course inside of a workbook with activity pages, journaling pages, coloring pages, and all of that. So, and it's been redesigned, pages added. I am so, so, so happy with this one. And I'm really excited to offer that. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and check it out. Thank you all for being here and sending you all lots of love. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.